When you hear the words halal chicken, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably that moment of slaughter, right? But what if I told you that's not even close to the whole story? Turns out, the real secret, the most important part, starts way, way before the chicken ever sees a processing plant.
Yeah, let's really think about that. You see that label in the supermarket? What does it actually mean? Got an idea?
Okay, so if you were thinking about how the chicken's life ends, you're not wrong, but you're missing the beginning of the story. The real starting line for halal, it's somewhere completely different.
Look, for most people, the whole halal conversation starts and stops right there, at the slaughterhouse. We're all kind of led to believe it's just about that one specific method. And hey, that part is definitely important, but it's not step one, not by a long shot.
So, where does it all actually begin? Well, you have to rewind. Go back past the factory, all the way to the farm. Because the true foundation of halal, the real bedrock of the whole process, is the very first thing that chicken eats. Yep, it all starts with the feed.
All right, let's get into that. The feed. Why is that the foundation of halal integrity? Well, it all kicks off with some really strict rules about what's on the menu for these chickens.
So, what exactly is halal-compliant feed? The rule itself is pretty straightforward, but it's also non-negotiable. The feed has to be 100% free of any animal byproducts, and I mean any. No non-halal residues, no wiggle room, period.
And when they say animal byproducts, they are super specific. We're talking about things you might find in regular commercial feed, like blood meal or bone meal. Those are an absolute no-go in a halal system. The whole idea is to build a clean slate, to make sure there's zero chance of contamination right from the start.
Okay, so that's the what. But now for the big question, why? Why does the feed matter so much? I mean, what kind of difference can it possibly make to the chicken you actually buy and eat?
Well, it turns out it makes a huge difference. There's this whole chain reaction of benefits, and it all comes back to a simple fact. What goes into the chicken has a direct, tangible impact on the meat that ends up on your fork.
It's like a set of dominoes, really. You start with that clean, halal-compliant feed. This actually improves the animal's metabolism. That, in turn, leads to better meat quality. And when you're putting out a better, more trustworthy product time and time again, damn, you get higher consumer trust. It's a really clear and powerful sequence.
And this isn't just some marketing buzzword, better quality. We're talking about real, noticeable differences. Standard feeds, the ones with those animal byproducts, can actually have a negative effect on the meat's texture and even its smell. But with the pure, halal-compliant feed, you get a more natural taste, a better texture, just an all-around superior product.
So you see, it's not just one thing. It's a whole system that rests on these 4 pillars. It all starts with halal integrity. That principle naturally leads to better food safety, because you're cutting out contamination risks. Those 2 things together give you that superior meat quality. And when you have all 3 of those locked in, you get the big one, consumer trust.
And there's a really practical side to this for the producers too. For the farmers, sticking to this strict feed plan from day one actually makes their lives a lot easier down the road. It means the whole supply chain is clean and traceable. And that makes things like audits and getting certified a whole lot simpler.
When you step back and look at all this, you realize it's about something much bigger than just a single rule. It's not just about the feed or just about the slaughter. It's a whole philosophy. It's a promise that covers the entire journey, right from the farm to your dinner table.
There's a great quote that just sums it all up perfectly. Halal is a farm-to-fork responsibility. That one sentence changes everything, doesn't it? It's not about one single moment in time. It's about a continuous chain of responsibility and care.
And that sense of responsibility, it really pays off for the farmers. This isn't just about doing the right thing in principle, it's actually just smart business. Taking this farm-to-fork approach means you get certified more easily, your brand becomes way more credible, and in the end, you've got a product that's simply worth more.
So when you put it all together, what you have is a complete system. It's a commitment to integrity, to quality, to safety, and it's baked into the process from the very first step, the feed, all the way to the chicken you pick up at the store.
So, let me leave you with a thought. Now that you know the real story of your food begins way before the supermarket, way before the processing plant, that it starts with that very first ingredient, does that change how you see what's on your plate?